What's going on, guys? Andrew Pillick Hockey here, back again with another video. I had a different video that I had recorded today that was supposed to be going up at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, but now there is some more rumors that's going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs, so that video will be delayed until tomorrow. And that video is about how the Maple Leafs could possibly acquire Alex Pietrangelo. Now, these rumors could dictate a change in tomorrow's video only if a trade happens, but you'll see the video makes a lot of sense. But for today, there's actually some tweets that went out and some news that's come around and some rumors that's been going on about the Toronto Maple Leafs possibly looking at trading even more of their roster, looking like they're going to be cleaning up the bottom end of their roster, and some good talent there. It's not like they're not good players, just retooling and rebuilding that bottom side of their roster, as well as their blue line and possibly the goaltending. So basically, this article that I have pulled up here is from The Score, so make sure to go check that out if you want to read the full article. Talked about, how Kyle Dubas might not be done, which he definitely isn't, after making the Kasperi-Kapanen trade with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, apparently the Leafs have been dangling 4 names in recent trade talks, with netminder Freddie Andersen being the biggest name out of all of them. Andreas Johnsson, Pierre Engvall, and Alex Kerfoot, of course. All 3 of those guys are forwards, Kerfoot being the centerman, and Engvall has played a bit of center, but he's more importantly and most of the time a winger. And Andreas Johnsson is also a winger. Both of those guys usually playing the left side. So Andersen, of course, has spent 4 seasons as Toronto starter. He's got 1 year left on his deal at $5 million. According to Myrtle, Andersen can be dealt for a useful but low-cost asset in what would primarily be a cap clearing trade. So what that would mean is that the Leafs are going to trade away that $5 million contract. They have Jack Campbell as their backup goaltender. He would be the starter until they get to unrestricted free agency, which would have some other goaltenders in there. I believe Braden Holtby is going to be a free agent, whether or not he wants to stay in Washington. Looks like they're going a different direction. Robin Lehner is going to be available. Markstrom might be available. Who knows via trade if guys like Georgiev or Fleury or, Henrik Lundqvist, all these different options are out there. But I'm not really sure if the Leafs are going to go that route. Maybe they're just trying to see what Andersen's value is worth. And getting rid of $5 million, they would have to go for another goaltender that can at least split games with Campbell, because you're not going to be going into next season and say Jack Campbell's our starter for sure, unless they really believe in him. But we can get to that in another video. But it does look like the Leafs are at least talking about trading Frederik Andersen. There has been some rumors out there stating that he might be an option in terms of requesting a trade. I don't know if that's true, but we'll have to see there. He looked good in the playoffs, .936 save percentage over 5 games in Columbus, but I have to be honest, as a Leaf fan, he's very inconsistent, and there was parts in this season where during 5 to 10 game stretches, Freddie Andersen was statistically one of the worst goaltenders in the NHL. He was in the bottom 5 along with his former partner Hutchinson. They were both not very good at times this season, and he's been inconsistent in the playoffs and in the regular season. But I love Freddie. I think he's a fantastic goaltender, but if the Leafs are looking at saving some money and maybe just trying a new goaltender and seeing if this team plays differently, that could be an option. Now, we'll get to him again in a second. Johnsson, 25, of course, is capped at $3.4 million over the next 3 seasons. Lots of injuries this year. We've talked about them before on this channel, but if the cap was going up consistently, I think the Leafs would be looking at keeping him. But with guys like Nick Robertson coming in and probably moving up the lineup, Andreas Johnsson might be expendable, especially in terms of cap space if the Leafs want to really shore up that blue line and then maybe bring in grittier forwards to fill out that bottom 6, or a cheaper version of Andreas Johnsson, which can be had in free agency. You might not get the same production as him, but Johnsson wasn't even a Leaf for most of this season, so they played without him. They feel he's expendable. I really do like Andreas Johnsson. I think a lot of teams would be interested, but right now he is definitely a trade option for the Leafs. Pierre Engvall, I do like the way he played in this year's playoffs. He's going to be a little bit cheaper if teams want to acquire him. He's only getting paid, I believe it's like 1.2 or 1.25. He's just over $1 million against the Leafs cap hit for the next 2 years. He obviously signed that $2.5 million deal in February. He's a good player. It's just he might become expendable. I would think the Leafs might want to hold on to him, but if they can trade him for cap savings, they'll do it. And then, of course, Kerfoot, which is a guy I wish the Leafs could hold on to. And I think out of all of these guys, I think they would rather keep Kerfoot out of any of them. But Kerfoot might have a bit of value, and I'll get to that in a second. But he's under contract through the 2022-23 season with a cap hit of $3.5 million. So, again, clearing out that space, depending on if you can get a cheaper option in there, is something that the Leafs are definitely going to look at. So the Maple Leafs cleared more cap space by moving Kapanen's $3.2 million average annual value through the 2021-22 season and have $7.79 million in projected cap space this offseason. The club is in need of adding a top four defenseman, while blue liner Travis Dermott and Ilya Mikheyev are restricted free agents in need of a new deal. I think Travis Dermott, because of Morgan Rielly, Rasmus Sandin, and Jake Muzzin being on the left side, and now Mikko Lehtinen, the top defenseman from the KHL, all being left-handed shots, I think that Dermott's on the outside looking in, and he could be a part of a trade package in order for the Leafs to either acquire cap space or to get another defenseman, depending on how it's packaged. Mikheyev was hurt most of this year. When he came back in the playoffs, he didn't actually look that great. So if he can sign a cheap one-year deal, a prove-yourself contract, much like Andreas Johnsson did before getting his big contract, then I could see the Leafs holding on to him. If not, his time might be done in Toronto. Now let's look at the tweet that might have stirred some things up, and this is why this article was created, because James Mirtle said, according to multiple NHL teams, no fewer than 4 intriguing Toronto Maple Leaf players are being dangled to varying degrees, which means obviously some are being said, oh, they're available, and some are like, yeah, we'll take offers. So Freddie Anderson, Kerfoot, Engvall, Andreas Johnsson, like we said, and Mirtle is from The Athletic, so make sure to go and check out his stuff. Anyways, looking at stats, Kerfoot, I said, might have the most value. The reason I say that is because he's a centerman. He looked really good in the playoffs. He can kill penalties. He can be on power plays. He's a net front presence. He might be a smaller guy, but I think people overlook the fact that he's not really a soft player. He gets into dirty areas. He's a tough guy in terms of being able to take impact. Like, he got hurt this year, but you should have seen, like, if you're not a fan of the Leafs, some of the injuries that this guy had, they were so unlucky. He was like drinking out of a straw for like parts of the season, and he was wearing a full cage, and he was playing through some of those injuries. So he's not a soft guy. He's a tougher guy. Now, he had 28 points in 65 games played, but in the playoffs he looked really good. I think a full season of Kerfoot, you're getting like a 40-point season at least. You're getting 40 to 45 points, and that's all you need from your third-line guy, and he's getting paid accordingly. So I kind of hope the Leafs can hold on to him, but if they can get an upgrade, or at least in terms of cap space get an upgrade and be able to replace him, then it should be fine. But I would rather trade, guys like Engvall and Johnsson before I would trade a Kerfoot. Now, Pierre Engvall, 24 years old, again, cheaper contract. He looked really good at some parts of the season, but then took a bit of a nosedive. But then in the playoffs, again, he looked really, really good. Some of these guys might have thought, damn, I might be on the outside looking in for this team next year. I really got to play with some intensity. But you got to play with that intensity the whole season. Engvall's getting paid just over $1 million. Some teams might be looking for depth forwards and can afford to just take on that contract. The Leafs might just be looking for, a middle and, late pick or something like that, and toss them, like fringe AHL, project type of prospect. Nothing too crazy, or just either one. But I think the Leafs would probably just be looking for cap space in any deal with Pierre Engvall. Now, Freddie Anderson, hopefully these numbers aren't too little, but because of his save percentage, I kind of needed to expand it. But Freddie Anderson has been very good, and I need to say this a million times. Freddie Anderson has been fantastic at points for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But if you don't watch the Leafs consistently, you won't understand that in some parts of the season, Freddie Anderson is terrible. And I have to say it. I love the guy. He's fantastic. The Leafs have a crappy blue line, but there's some games where the Leafs are playing great defensively, great offensively, and then he's letting in goals that, any goaltender in the league is probably stopping. And there's been a ton of games like that, and they come at the worst times. So the Leafs are probably going, okay, we're looking for some more consistency, or we're going to try to give Jack Campbell some more games and bring in a guy that can take on the rest of those games. I'm not really sure. We'll have to get into that debate as the videos go on and more information comes out. But he had a .909 save percentage this year, which isn't really fantastic for a starting goaltender. And my good friend Downtown Stephen Brown said, and make sure to go subscribe to his channel, Downtown Sports. It's featured on my channel. And he's been on this channel a bunch. He was saying if the Leafs get like a .915 or a .917 out of Freddie Anderson this year, they are way better than what they looked like this year. But because of Anderson playing, 800 save percentage level hockey for a couple months, the Leafs looked terrible even when they were playing good. But again, it's not. His numbers haven't been great. Like, look at the seasons prior: 9-17, 9-18, 9-18, 9-19, 9-14, 9-23. Like, he's been giving them and Anaheim good hockey, been giving them good save percentages. But this year it took a bit of a dip, and that little bit of a dip actually hurt the Leafs quite a bit. 2.85 goals against average as well, quite high for Freddie Anderson. I believe that's the highest. Yeah, it's statistically his worst goals against average. And you know what? He also only played in 52 games this year. Like, you need more out of Freddie. You definitely need him to play better. And if the Leafs find a way to clear out his cap space and bring in a cheaper goaltender in order to allocate that money in other areas, I think the Leafs are going to at least explore that option. And then Andreas Johnsson, which is really intriguing. Like I said, some teams might be interested in him. He had a 20-goal season in the 18-19 season, and then, of course, the 19-20 season, he had some injuries and stuff like that. 43 games played, 21 points. I'm guessing he gets to 15 to 17 goals if he plays the full season. Johnsson's quick. He's gritty. He can probably kill penalties for you. And the guy has the potential to keep scoring 15 to 20 goals. And, I mean, look at it. In 73 games, he had 43 points. If you're getting that out of him for the money he's being paid, a lot of teams would line up for those services. So, again, I'm not really sure what they're going to go with there. But I do like Johnsson, but I think his time has probably come to be traded as well. I'm just going to throw this article back up there. So take this with a grain of salt. It's not a guarantee that, oh, these guys are for sure getting traded. But you have to understand that Kyle Dubas and the Toronto Maple Leafs are in need of cap space. They're in need of looking at teams' problems in terms of actual dollars outside of the cap and taking advantage of that. They're going to be looking at a ton of free agents, goaltending help, back-end help. They're looking at everything, depth scoring, whatever they can do, they're going to try to figure it out. And if that means they have to clear out even more cap space, they're going to do it. I think Justin Holl should be listed in here as well. I think that he's definitely an option to be traded. I know that he's a right-handed shot defenseman, but if you can bring in better, more useful players and pay a little bit extra to bring them in, like a guy like Radko Gudas or a Dylan DeMello, you're going to trade a guy like Justin Holl for that additional cap space. So we'll have to see what the Leafs do here. So some big names being tossed out there: Anderson, Johnsson, Engvall, and Kerfoot. You can take your pick on who you feel is going to be traded. Let me know down below what teams you think would be interested. Or if you want to see individual videos, it doesn't have to be about rumors, about anything. Could be about any team. I love talking about this stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.